Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today it's G.I. Joe and Action Force and my top 10 for 2022. The reason why my top 10 is going to combine the G.I. Joe Classified and the Valaverse Action Force figures is because I have recently been introduced to the Action Force figure line, and I've sort of substituted buying some of the Action Force figures instead of G.I. Joe's. So this is how my top 10 is going to go. A blast from the past and almost a perfect representation of the original is Mindbender. Now the thing is with the Mindbender, he comes with a lot of accessories. It was an exclusive though, and it was a little bit harder for some people to get. And I think that a character like this should have been more mainstream and been more widely available. So I'm kind of hoping that he'll come up in the individual style box, maybe with just not so many accessories. But I think the way they released him was fine. I guess if they're going to re-release him. Now I would hate to see that people couldn't get Mindbender for their collection, kind of like that Supreme Cobra Commander eludes me to this day. But anyways, and for that reason, and because it's kind of hard to display all the accessories unless you have other things in your collection, like tables and stuff, he ends up being my number 10 G.I. Joe Classified figure. So then we move to my number 9. And my number 9 is basically this bat. And the bat figure is actually really cool. It's a really good example of what they can do when they set their mind to it. And I'm really glad they made it. He's pretty awesome with all of his interchangeable pieces and stuff like that. But still, this bat is going to end up with my number 9. Just because there are some other figures in my collection that I just like a whole lot better. Now I'm going to tell you, it gets kind of tough for me from here on out. 8 figure is a G.I. Joe Classified figure, but not necessarily because of the figure. So it is the Croc Master is my number 8 figure, but not necessarily for the Croc Master himself. I think it's just an okay figure, but the Gator, man, is just fantastic. So the double pack of so the deluxe pack here that incorporated the Fiona and the Croc Master just made this a top 10 figure of the year. This guy is fantastic, articulable in almost every way. It is super cool. Look at the feet on this guy. Super cool. I mean, you can't get past that crocodile. So anyways, the Croc Master, because of Fiona, ends up in the top 10 at number 8. Can you imagine that? He beat out the Mindbender on my list. My number 7 figure is going to be this Action Force figure, and I think this one's actually really cool. I kind of wish the glasses and the hat would come off, but I think this guy is super cool, and the way they designed him is really neat. He does have these like headphones, and the thing is, one of the little pieces like sticks off a little bit. It doesn't fully set next to his head, so that is an unfortunate piece of the molding of that plastic. It's a little bit hard. Maybe they needed to make like cut it out a little bit so it goes over the ear. But anyways, this guy looks pretty cool. He's my number 7 figure. And then we're going to go back to a classified for my number 6, and it's going to be this Storm Shadow here. Now, I wish this is a Storm Shadow that they had released early on, instead of giving us that winter one when they were releasing all of the Cobra Island exclusives. They gave us a Arctic Snow Missions Storm Shadow, and I think this is the guy that should have been released right away. But anyways, this guy looks fantastic, and he ends up rounding out that 5. He is number 6 on my list. And here's where it gets kind of interesting. So this is my top 5 G.I. Joe Classifieds and Action Force figures, and I'm going to say this guy is number 5. Now, it's interesting about this guy because I don't really collect Action Force, and this is the very first Action Force figure that I've gotten to my collection. This is a gift to me from Connor over at Fuller Figures, and if you haven't checked out his channel, you need to head on over there and check it out. So this guy is actually really cool. I like the way he's decked out. They come with this fantastic gear. Look at that knife on the back. The helmets do come fully equipped. He's got these like little earpieces that pop off. There's a night vision piece that goes on the front of his helmet, which makes this guy like really, really cool. But all this stuff like comes out, and it's fully usable, and the Action Force figures are actually really, really cool. So I really dig that figure, and I want to say thanks again for that figure, and definitely one of my top 10 figures of 2022. Not only because, one, it's a fantastic figure, but the generosity is just awesome. My number 4 figure is going to be this guy right here. This is the Tiger Force Duke, and the thing is with the Tiger Force Duke, so I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, and this guy just does not disappoint you at all. And I keep saying that I wish that these classified figures looked like they aged appropriately. So if you were collecting the original G.I. Joes back in like the 80s, this is what I expect the guy would have looked like now, today, 30, 40 years later. So anyways, that's why I think this guy is definite top 10. Plus, he's just awesome. Look at that rifle that he comes with. He comes with a shovel, which is really, really cool. And that flashlight is just cool. It takes me right back to having my own when I was a kid. Anyways, this is Outback G.I. Joe Classified, and that is my number 4 figure of 2022. So my number 3 figure, of course, is going to be Spirit. Now, I got Spirit earlier in the year, and I was really looking forward to this guy when he came out also. And look at the decorative sheathing he's got on that piece there. This eagle makes this figure fantastic. And he's got that piece where the eagle can go right onto the arm. You can get that look right there where he's catching him in flight. He also comes with 2 wings to keep him out of flight that he's just perching. But basically, this is an awesome action figure, and super glad to have it in my collection. And the creatures, or the little animals that they've been selling, like last year when they released Timber for the first time, the articulation makes these figures just fantastic. Okay, so my number 2 is, of course, Serpentor with the air chariot. And this is the Serpentor. He stands really big. He's a much bigger, beefier figure. He has a different headdress on him. He's got some different accessories that come with him. And this guy is actually really, really cool. Check out those like serpents on his shoulders. And of course, he comes with this air chariot. Now, this guy was like an exclusive, and they did re-release him. So everybody should have been able to pick one up recently. For those that didn't, I hope they release him as an individual package one day for everybody, and we'll see if that happens. But he's a fantastic figure. It's my number 2, mostly because of the combination of the figure and the air chariot, because having like a vehicle like this to go with this line just puts this guy way over the top. Now, with all that said, you would have imagined that would have been my number 1 figure for 2022. But my number 1 figure is part Action Force, part Hasbro. And the thing is, this is a Valaverse Action Force body, which is actually one of the coolest looking outfits that I have. It's like a plain kind of shirt with just some tactical gear. It kind of reminds me of every like movie that you see where these guys are like soldiers of fortune or something like that, or they're like private security. But the head itself is a Hasbro Selfie series head, and that is actually a scan of me. So of course, my number 1 figure, of course, is a Action Force figure with my face on it. So there you have it, everybody. That is my top 10 G.I. Joe classified / Action Force figures for 2022. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you liked this video, and don't forget, everybody, have a fantastic day.